Welcome to the panel where three founders try to figure out how to build a better business and a better life in the age of AI. I'm Justin Jackson, the co-founder of Transistor.fm.
I am Jordan Gall, and I just jumped on top of Brian's introduction. I am the co-founder at Rosie.
And I'm Brian Castle. I'm the founder at Builder Methods.
All right, and Jordan's hosting. Take it away, man.
I am hosting, and I'm trying, we want to experiment with different formats and learn along the way and how to properly have a three-person podcast. Mm-hmm. So this is my attempt, okay? So what I want to do is start off with updates on each of our businesses. What are you up to? What's the big thing of the week, right? Not like this huge, giant deep dive, but what are you thinking about? What are you working on this week? What are the big things? And then I want to ask opinions on some topics in the tech industry, on Twitter, what's going on, and just get people's takes and then see how that feels at the end of the show. A little bit of balance of updates from us and what we think about things that are happening and how those relate back to ourselves.
Sounds great.
All right. Cool.
Sounds good.
Love it.
All right, so let's start off with business updates. Brian, let's kick off with you. What's the big theme for the week? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind? And what do you want to share?
Yeah, so I know that we're going to touch on this maybe later in the show on the question of, is OpenClaw necessary? That's related to what I've been focused on this week. So this is my first full week back after last week I was on vacation in Utah. This week was a little bit of a change of pace for me. Like, I didn't do any YouTube recording. You know how, like, when you have a SaaS and, like, it used to be like every couple of years you would do some sort of like big refactor, like a redesign or a refactor for the goal of, like, well, if we change our underlying infrastructure or our underlying foundation, then that's going to make it easier and faster to build a lot of stuff going forward. You know, that like justification that we give ourselves, like, if we just spend a month on this refactor, then we're going to be able to go much faster.
Yes, let's slow down to go faster. Yes.
That was the theme for this week for me. And in my case, that's like refactoring my whole operating system, the way I organize my files, where my skills are living, and how those are synced across Claude and Claude Code and Claude Cowork and OpenClaw. I've got my agent's Mac Mini over here, so how do I sync files between that and my Macs and my iPhone? Rethinking my recurring processes. This is a lot to do with, like, content development. I spun up a new app a couple days ago to help me with my content pipeline. So that, in a nutshell, that app is like it's for my agents to use and for me to use, for us to develop and draft and move content through my pipeline, through all the platforms. So just rethinking the way that I do everything, so that hopefully after this week, I can just sort of like run my processes, but constantly tinker around the edges. But this week was about, like, rethink the whole foundation, and so that I can start to, like, scale with agents a little bit easier. That's the goal.
Very cool. I have a question on that. What I've seen a little bit is, have you seen the G-Stack? You know, Gary from Y Combinator released like what he's calling, like, the G-Stack, which is basically a bunch of skills, MD files, and, like, how to organize. So how do you think about that in general for someone building with Claude or others? Is that, like, part of what you teach in the content, as opposed to just, here's how to use it? Is it all directly connected?
I'm actually not familiar with G-Stack. I haven't seen that yet. But one thing that I really like is to see all these different platforms, like Claude and OpenClaw, but also like OpenAI and Cursor. I like to see when they converge on standardized formats. Skills is a big one, right? The fact that I can create skills for various processes in my business, and for a couple of weeks those skills were being done by OpenClaw agents, literally copy and paste. I can bring them into Claude and have Claude run the same skills. You can even do the same thing with other agents too. So I like that portability of things. And that's part of what I've been doing this week is like my OpenClaw Mac Mini, without getting too in the weeds here, I've got like 2 users on that, like a main user and then like the OpenClaw user. The main user is for running my Claude, like Claude Cowork and Claude Code, so that I can use my Claude Max subscription to do anything where I need to use like Opus for like creative writing tasks and stuff. And then I've got like more admin tasks handled by OpenClaw, and all of this stuff is shifting really fast. I think there is sort of a migration from like OpenClaw back to Claude because of some of the updates that the Claude team is rolling out. We could talk about that later, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Look at us. We just opened a loop. And I do want to come back to that because I require some additional explanation on the differences between those two, and I'm assuming some people listening also. For now, Justin, what's going on with you? What do you got going this week?
Dude, I'm having just the best time right now. Right now the world is sunny. There is money to be made. We are just cranking on video podcasting over at transistor.fm.
Oh,
John and I are aligned. We are meeting every week. We're hanging out. And with that alignment, we could just say to the whole team, this is where we're going. We are focusing on this one main thing. This is our clarified purpose. This is our clarified direction. And yeah, John and Jason are just cranking on it, using a mix of their own engineering prowess and skill and a lot more Claude as well in the mix. So I'm on cloud number 9 right now, just having a great time.
Okay, so we all know that feeling. You know, and sometimes it's related to revenue, and sometimes it's related to progress, and not necessarily the same thing sometimes. So this sounds like a progress and a finality, or some type of like resolution around what to do. Is that where it's coming from?
Yeah, I think just getting to alignment, I think communication, I think... that passive-aggressive loop that we were in was not productive. And so now it's also just created a culture now where I think we all feel more empowered to bring things up and confront each other right away as opposed to letting it wait. And I think the big thing for me is that we were focusing on other stuff that wasn't in my circle of expertise and passion and excitement, and now we're squarely in something that I think has big market potential and is perfect for me. I'm just so excited about it. We're just cranking on it. We were a part of Apple's HLS announcement at South by Southwest, which was really exciting.
What's HLS?
HLS Video. So they're bringing video podcasts to Apple Podcasts.
Oh.
And we're in they had 4 initial partners, and now we're in the next batch of official partners. And it's kind of an exciting time.
Very, very exciting. Okay, Brian.
I'm just excited for you, Justin, because number one, I do think that's a really exciting, smart product direction for Transistor to get into this video podcasting as a feature. I don't know if you're thinking of it as like a feature or like a mini product or what, but that's exciting. But I'm just excited as a fan and as a listener of our podcast, because this feels like the start of a new storyline for you for the rest of the year. Like, where is this going? You know? Yeah.
No, and I mean, if I've been talking about this on the podcast, I think almost from the beginning, just wanting to do video, but we just couldn't quite get there. So yeah, I'm delighted right now. Of course, there'll be things, next week, check in, but can I just have this moment?
Yes, I think you should have this moment.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes this leads into like revenue and growth and all that. But just being really happy in your own company about what you're doing in your own company is kind of valuable.
Yeah.
Full stop right there.
Yeah.
So I hope
Exactly.
it leads into revenue and growth and all this other stuff that goes with it.
Yeah.
But it's not a failure if it doesn't. Just
Yes.
taking control is, it's your company with a very small group of people. You guys run it together and just doing what you think is right.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So empowering. And I think the other reason it's exciting is because this has the potential to really increase our expansion revenue, like those $49 plus plans. I am like, just can't wait to see if we get way more signups, if we get way more upgrades. My sense is we will, because we've had lots of interest in the past. So I'm like eager.
Okay. Well, one more double click on that part of it. This type of feature, I'm curious how you think about it. Brian, I'm curious how you think about the same thing. When you introduce a new feature, how do you decide who gets it for free? Where is it? Where is the split? Is it something that should go in the highest tier? Is it something that should incentivize coming off of the base tier? Or is it something that everyone should have at the base tier because you want to add more value there? So, Justin, how are you thinking about this in particular? And then, Brian, same kind of thing. How, when you come up with a new feature, a new piece of value, how do you look and decide where it fits?
Well, with us, it's easy because there's already prior art. So the guy that's the Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett, he launched a video-first podcasting platform called Flightcast, and they already have pricing out. It's $50, $100, and $250. So they became the anchor, and one of the reasons I was excited about moving into this category is I'm like, I like that pricing. That's like our starter plan is 19, but their starter plan's 50. And so the baseline's kind of already been set, and there's at least one price anchor out there, but there's other examples too. Castos does some of this already, and they do it on the $50 and $100 plans. So there's already examples out there. If customers are comparing us to other folks, they're already comparing us to that. Mm-hmm. And so now our goal is, how can we come up with the killer positioning that gets people to look at us and go, oh, Transistor's just the better value. Like, we're going to go for them guaranteed,
Okay. So that's part of what's behind the excitement there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could talk a bit about Clarity Flow, but before about Transistor, if I understood that last comment correctly, it was like Castos and other podcasting tools have the video feature, and Transistor doesn't yet. Mm-hmm. So that can also make the argument like, well, it's almost doesn't even matter which tier you initially put it in. It's also about, like, because there's probably people who are just like, I love everything about what Transistor is doing. Oh, but they don't have that video piece. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, even if you put it in a tier that's higher cost than what competitors do to get video, that could still get them over the hump. It's like, well, if I want everything and I want the video, okay, I'll pay a few bucks more, but at least I get everything I want with the company I want.
Yeah, we have so much flexibility. We could start it, if we wanted to, we could start on the $250 a month plan and see what happens. Mm-hmm. I think what's more likely is we'll start it on the $100 a month plan and see what happens. But we have a lot of options. And the other thing we have is market positioning that the other people don't. So Transistor gets recommended more often in AI overviews and in LLMs right now than those other two companies I just mentioned. So we are in a unique moment that we could capture, where we have the reputation of being an incredible podcast hosting platform. So now we just get to deliver this extra thing, and hopefully, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. It could fail, but I'm excited.
You have a big customer base too.
Yeah, we got like I can't tell you exactly, but it's like 7,000 to 8,000 paying accounts, but that translates into like 36,000 users or something like that.
Oh wow.
Okay, so a lot to market to very, very directly that you have their ear. We just launched our second product a few weeks ago and have 100 users on it already because we actually did something funny. We advertised inside of our own product. So we sent an email. We sent an email campaign, really, we did in-app messaging, and then we just put ad units inside of our admin. So when you log into the admin, on the left side, there's just an ad unit for our own product.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And you can exit out and close it. Fine. But we're like, how do we visually just make as many people aware of this as possible?
I like that.
Yeah.
I do similar things in both my products, actually. So like Builder Methods, there's really only one product, Builder Methods Pro. And so if you are a free user, like you can go on Builder Methods and actually browse the whole library. You can click into any video, you can see, but you can't press play on it. So like the video will have a paywall. And also there's like calls to action on the left side that say like, if the system knows that you're not a member or you're not logged in, it'll promote that. Real quick, like in Clarity Flow, really my only role in that business these days is to like green light new features that get requested, and my teammate is sort of running the show over there. So she just surfaces these like customer requests, and I just say like yay or nay, like yeah, let's build it. And then usually as part of that, and I'll give you a bit of direction, like some high level thoughts on how I think it should work, but she'll do all the scoping and building and all that. And usually as part of that, I also give input on like, okay, I think this feature should be in our professional plan and up and not the starter plan. And I would say that more often than not these days, like, because we're at a point now in the product where like we've already built all the big rocks. They've been in there for well over a year. So now all the requests are mostly power feature requests, which naturally fit in the upper tiers. Like we've already established what the lowest tier is, and that's basically just asynchronous messaging. If you want anything related to automations or like groups or like workflows, like all this stuff, like those are the kind of requests we get. Those go into the upper tier. Just real quick to close the loop on that thing you were saying, Jordan, about like advertising to current customers. The way that I've always done it, and I think it pretty much works, is in Clarity Flow as the SaaS product, every feature and every button to get to every feature is available to every user.
Okay,
but if you're
so
on
you
the
don't
starter,
hide things in the admin.
we don't hide things. We don't put little badges on like this thing is a pro feature. Like we don't say anything like that. If you're on the starter plan and you try to click the button to schedule a message to go out in the future, okay, that's a schedule button. I'm going to click it. Oh, it's going to kick me to the upgrade screen.
Okay.
Oh, that's an advanced, like let me click the automation workflow feature because I want to make a workflow. Click. Oh, I'm on the upgrade screen. In order to use that, you got to upgrade. So that's always been the way. And I see expansions happen all the time, and it usually happens within the first few days of the account. Like they start on the starter plan.
Start looking around.
And within day 2, day 3, they're upgrading because they want to do what they want to do.
The last thing that we did that worked well for our existing customers, Justin, it might be applicable in your situation. Don't know the details though, is we applied an auto credit. So we're effectively enabling a free trial of this upgrade for our existing customers. So you go in there as an existing customer and you say, the modal comes up that says you need to upgrade. This is a paid add-on.
Yeah.
And then it's like, click here to auto apply coupon to get your first month free.
Yeah.
So you're just opting in to be charged for it next month. You can obviously cancel it between now and then, but it just trying to encourage when someone comes into that friction, like, hey, you got to make a decision, we then immediately reverse the risk of you have to make a decision, but it doesn't cost you anything right now. So you can kind of delay the decision while also getting the value.
Yeah. That's good.
Cool.
Nice to have, some upgrade paths there that lower the risk.
Do I have sharing permission? Because I put it up on the screen. I love how much we're relying on video right now as we're talking about this.
I don't see anything.
You don't see a share button?
Well, hold on. I haven't done it. There we go. Oh, there we go.
You have to,
All right, see here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is like our inbox. This is like a new account, so there's only one call. But see in the top right here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, right, this account already has the website texting add-on. And so when I exit out, I see the next advertisement, which is for the mobile app that we just launched.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we just use. Let's see what happens if I close this. Okay, now the website text will come up.
That's
so we have
cool.
We have like a series of advertisements,
Like a rotating thing. I've seen that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Cool.
And then eventually, like if I close this out now, it'll like how'd you hear about us?
Oh,
Right,
that's
kind
so.
of like,
Oh, I love that.
yeah. We just kind of use this vertical space.
I might steal that for the listener. Basically, he has what's like a carbon ad. If you've ever seen those carbon ads on the sidebar, you can think of a menu bar in a regular SaaS, but he's got ads on the side, and then when you click out of them, it goes to this little survey about how you heard from us, that's what every marketer wants right now. That's
And
awesome.
We use this thing on the left-hand side also to like become an influencer, basically share it and get credit when sharing with your customers. So we're just kind of used to using this left-hand space to convey evergreen messages that we want.
I'm going to
Those
steal that
two
for
things, the how did you hear about us question and also the affiliate promotion, I put those into the onboarding flow in Clarity Flow. So you sign up, and I think like maybe like the second screen or something is like a one question. Like, all right, I think it might be two questions. Like one's like, what's your main goal here? What are you trying to do with Clarity Flow? And second's like, how'd you hear about us? And then I think I forgot now. It's been a while, but I think you get to like a welcome screen, and on that it's like, by the way, like you can actually make money from referring friends and join the affiliate program.
We thought about that, but I think we are. I don't know if it's too scared or too careful, but we just don't want to get in the way. I guess the trade-off that we're making is let's let them get through. We will show this visually after they get through the onboarding. And then I think this is what you're talking about here. Like we have these little diamonds that show anything that's above your plan level. And so this is on the medium level, and training files are for the highest tier. And this is like an advertisement for the feature, right? This is available for growth and custom, gives you the information, you can click on give it a try, and that's when you upgrade. So very similar set of logic.
That is slick. Yeah, you guys have done a good job there.
Yeah, it's fun having a self-serve product because we've never really had many levers to pull. But this is finally the first one that's like, higher volume self-service, and you can kind of like do more of this UI framing. All right, well, we're starting to get into it. I'll give my update very, very quickly. We had two big things happen this week. The first one is that we hit 2 million ARR, which is very exciting.
Boom.
Which is
Where's
awesome.
my reaction? I'll set up some confetti here.
Some confetti. There you go. So
there we go.
2 million
Like
ARR,
audience,
18 months.
Audience clapping audio factors.
So definitely the fastest growing thing that I've done in the past. So it feels awesome, and we are
Really,
that's I think is good.
So this sort of surpasses the speed of growth that you had with I guess that was Cardhook?
With Cardhook, not at its highest. Cardhook had it had like 3 or 4 months that we were adding like 30 or 40K in MRR every month. And that was just like a ridiculous. It was COVID, it was e-commerce, it was shop, it was just out of control. And obviously it was great, but it wasn't a sustainable thing, and it didn't last for very long, but it was obviously this huge growth thing. So it's not that fast, but this is much more consistent. Yep.
Very nice.
That's amazing, dude. Congrats.
It's awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
The second big thing that happened in the company was we migrated our entire infrastructure over to a new platform. And the last time we did this, it took us like 4 months, and it was difficult. And this time, that was a year ago, and we had an agreement for an annual contract, and it was coming expired, and we had a decision to make, and we decided to explore other options to understand what it looked like. And the difference in all of the AI tooling between a year ago and now, a year ago, it was 3-4 months of very stressful, very careful, very deliberate, it was very stressful. And this time it's less than 3 weeks. And just reached feature parity, and then started pushing new signups to this new infrastructure yesterday for the first time. So
can you go into that a bit? What
Sure.
what parts are we talking about?
So I don't want to name names because I don't want to put anyone in a bad light in terms of like leaving one platform or another.
I just meant like what functionality.
So the big pieces are the three inference pieces in voice AI are the LLM, text to speech, and speech to text. So those three parts, we were on a platform that enabled all three of them together. They took open source models, hosted them on their own hardware, and you were able to access this one black box that had all of it. Some great advantages there. We concluded that we were better off in our situation to pick and choose the best of the closed source models. So now this new infrastructure platform, I'm sure we'll announce it at some point, allows us to choose this specific OpenAI model, this specific transcriber on DeepGram, this specific voice on Cartesia. It's just, and then if anything gets better, we can swap to it quickly.
Just swap it out. Nice.
We were hoping a year ago that all the open source models were going to get there sooner, that they would be almost as good as the closed source, and then this one black box that had all three in the stack together would be better, and that's just not the case. The closed source models are just flying, and I don't know if open source catches up anytime soon. And our model of this very horizontal agent that needs to just be smart enough, regardless of who signs up, and we scrape their info, the model just needs to go, cool, I get it, this is a dog groomer, now I have all the context. It just needs to be the best. And that's what we were after.
I mean, I don't want to get on too much on a tangent here, but like I know people keep like experimenting with all these like open source models and like locally running models and all these different things, and I just haven't really had the time to try them, but B, like the popular, most well-known models for me, I'm pretty heavy on Claude models, but I also use OpenAI's, the latest like GPT stuff a little bit. I just stick to those, and they're just so damn good, and they keep getting so much better that it's like I don't jump around. I don't know. I just get more and more comfortable with the best of those.
Here's a quick question for you on the coding model specifically. I saw some news today that at first was positioned as like a gotcha, and it was that Cursor under the hood was using Kimi, and then someone on the Cursor team was like, here's how it works. Like, we take this open source model, then we add a bunch of training on top of it, and yes, it is part of our offering. And we do pay them properly, not like people are saying that we don't pay them when we stole it. And so what is that fusion between the open source models and the companies and teams and models that work alongside them, on top of them both?
I did see that said about the Cursor Composer model. I haven't dug into the actual story. I don't know what's true or whatever, but that's one model that I have used. I was using it a lot more a few months ago. And it's super impressive. And I know that they just dropped version 2, but I was using it back from version 1, and even that was the most impressive thing about that was it was lightning fast to turn around every request compared to every other model. It's like 100 times faster. Like, do this thing, boom, it's done. Do this other thing, boom, done.
Okay.
It's like, whoa, like, but the interesting thing about what Cursor is doing there is. This is a product, and maybe they leveraged a Kimi or whatever other models under the hood, but they definitely tuned it, and they have all these developer users that they can train it on that data, and so clearly, so that's a really interesting example of a product company. They are an IDE, like coding development product, making their own in-house model that is purpose-built only for that. They don't need to be a writing model. They don't need to be an image generation model. They just need to be great at coding because they're a coding product. So that it'll be interesting to see if, I don't know, like other tools like a Figma or one of these that just creates a great image model because they're Figma, like something that's like built into their product that starts to decouple the need to, like, how can a product make their own in-house LLM actually competitive with a Claude Opus or a GPT-4? Well, if it's just like a bootstrapped SaaS, like niching down, you're just better for that industry,
Yeah. And I think we do see that with video, with other things, and that'll continue. Okay, we're going to move forward from the update part. I thought that was great. And Justin, I'm going to go to you first on this. There is a product and a bit of a story developing around this company called Polsia.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the link. Where are we here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
The
Jordan,
link's
you
in the
and I
chat.
talked about this like 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? Like when they were
Yeah.
just starting to come out.
That's right. And you guys know I'm on the ZHC kick, the Zero Human Company angle. This company, Polsia, is a wild product. If you go to the site, yeah, there you go. You're sharing. Super creative. I signed up because I wanted to understand what was going on. The design is nuts. The execution is crazy. The social element. Okay, so what this thing does.
I want to know what you built. I want to know like what kind of company you spun up.
It was such a jarring experience. I signed up, and next thing I knew, it had sent out tweets about the new company that I was starting. And I was like, hold on. I just signed up to look at your product. Don't go telling the whole world that I just launched this new thing. I wasn't ready for it. And I emailed the founder and was like, so creative, so interesting. Delete my account immediately. I think I might be too boomer for this. Best of luck. So here's the thing. The product is interesting. What it does is it allows you to launch a company autonomously. This thing goes out and builds a company for you. But next to it, it's almost like the real story is that this is a one-person company that went from, I think, 1 million ARR to 5 million ARR in like 18 days or something like that. So what the hell's going on? What is this thing? Is this a giant scam? Is it fake? Is it real but doesn't add any value? Is this the new way to look? What is this thing? I need your opinion, Justin. When you see this thing, what do you think?
Well, Laura Roeder, I saw that she was the first one questioning his revenue numbers. And that's the big thing, is that there's a criticism of he's selling the story of $1 million to $5 million ARR in 18 days. He's now using this word run rate. But if you look up in Grok, what are the criticisms of Ben Sarah's revenue reports?
Okay.
The big one is his own public dashboard reportedly shows 3,218 paying users at $49 a month, which only equals 1.9 million ARR. The jump to 5 million, or prior claims like 1.5 million in weeks, is called out as including a 20% rev share on businesses that may or not be sustainable or real. So he's inflating. He's like, look at this. This is crazy. It's like, well, you're massively inflating what's actually happening here. And so I mean, none of us like this, right? Like none of us like people inflating their revenue numbers.
Yes, something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. So,
but also with that inflating thing, it's like, why inflate it? Because even just like 1 million in 60 days is impressive. Like, why inflate it to 5 million?
Yes, it's almost like that's the PR. The marketing angle is eye-popping, attention-getting, one-person, absurd revenue growth. I don't know what to tell you. I think everyone's keeping an eye on it, and I think the general consensus is that there's no way this is what he wants us to think it is, which is, a software product that builds businesses that people are signing up for and paying for. And if those autonomous businesses that are created on behalf of users are successful, people will continue to pay, for sure. And this thing will grow enormously. But it's almost like a believe it when I see it kind of thing.
I don't know that I personally would go so hard on this guy about like inflating or misrepresenting his company or whatever. Like I heard his interview on Mixergy with Andrew, which he did maybe about 6 weeks ago, which was a really good interview. And because, like you, Jordan, I'm like, what is this? This is wild. I want to hear the story. And Andrew is such a good interviewer that I knew he would get it out of him. And he did go into it. Like what was interesting about that interview was they spent about 30 minutes talking about what it is Pulsia is and what he's building and the rapid growth. But finally, around 30 minutes in, Andrew was like, all right, but what about the businesses that people are building? Like, how much revenue are they making?
Yeah.
And then it sort of dropped, and he was just like, well, the most MRR that one of these businesses is making so far is $50 MRR. It's like, oh, wait, what? Like, so there's like, there's nothing here. But at the same time, I just want to say, like, I haven't really heard. Maybe he inflated that 1 to 5 million number a little bit, but like, I think he's also being pretty upfront. Like, even in that tweet that you were just showing, like the whole second half of that tweet was like, look, most businesses are built on this thing are not real yet. It's still early days, and that's true. So I would say that, like, I'm not actually surprised that a new startup like this is, you know, growing its own MRR very quickly. There's just such a wild demand for like all things AI right now, like whether it's OpenClaw or whether it's something like this. Like there's clearly just worldwide demand. Of course, he's going to get crushing signups. I do question, like, I don't know if this one is going to be the one that like sticks long term and real businesses come out of this, or like real agent owned business like funds come out of this, or portfolios come out. Like that in concept is really interesting, but I don't know if Pulsia is going to be the thing. Like but I wouldn't be surprised if a year from now there are completely autonomous agent run mini businesses, if you will, and people or organizations owning a little portfolio, maybe a side portfolio of just agent moneymakers. And I could see that being a thing, and maybe it becomes a more legitimate thing in the next year or two. And this gets back to the same thing that I think about, like whatever seems like rough and sketchy and doesn't quite work today, but there might be a kernel of interesting stuff here today. 12 months from now, more established companies and products are going to form around this that make it real. Plus the LLMs are going to be so much farther advanced, and 2027 could be wild. You know, that's my take.
Can I show you guys my inbox?
Yeah, please. Are you getting emails from Pulsia companies, please?
Bro,
I've received some
yes,
of them.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, Brian, I think that was a great take, because what we're seeing is demand.
Yep.
Very straightforward. People want it. Whether or not it can deliver does not necessarily mean if it's like being dishonest or doing anything wrong at all. The demand is there. He's capturing the lightning in a bottle element of the marketing, the attention, and the PR. Can't blame him on that. I hope it works out. It's really easy to hate on it because everyone's ego looks at that and is like, what? Can't be possible.
Yeah.
But, you know, a year from today, maybe someone comes out with a business building model that actually does a very, very good job of it. And fully online businesses are, you know, heading in this direction.
And all elements of that are going to be better 12 months from now. The LLMs and all the rest of it. And I do think that there's a parallel with the OpenClaw thing. I think it's like these scrappy one-person startups come out of nowhere and they introduce a breakthrough idea that the world goes crazy about, but that startup, you know, fizzles out. But then the market takes over and it becomes real like a year later. And I think that's probably what's happening with OpenClaw into Claude. We can get into that later.
Yes.
That's the parallel.
Justin, what are you showing here?
This is my inbox for Transistor. I don't know how I ended up on this. And this is just me searching Pulsia. So this is a very like common, this is what it looks like. Com company, com inbox. This is from Nightcrew-AI at Pulsia app. You built Transistor around calm company principles, so it knows something about me. But 30,000 podcasts on the platform means customer questions, partnership pitches, and listener feedback don't respect that. Nightcrew is an AI email triage, reads everything, surfaces what actually needs you, drafts the rest, calm restored. Free 30-minute trial to see it work on your real inbox. Worth a look. And then here's the deal breaker for me. I mean, already this is a deal breaker because I'm like, I don't care.
Not a bad cold email.
Not, I mean,
I've
here's
seen
what
worse.
Here's what makes it worse. This company runs autonomously on Pulsia. Any email I get that is telling me this company runs autonomously, I am giving it the big old thumbs down. I don't want a company that's running autonomously. I want a company manned by real humans. I want human connection. What in my world, I'm not seeing anybody that's like, man, I really want to talk to more AI bots. No, I want to talk to real humans. I want real humans that actually. If you guys get those the emails for this podcast, it's like so many of them, and they just feel like they're predatory to me. It's like you're grabbing stuff from our transcripts. This isn't like a human that took time to know about me and my company. You're grabbing stuff from our transcripts like, oh, I love that last episode. No, you didn't. That's a fucking lie.
Yeah, it's
I love that
manipulative
last
that way.
episode when you talked about this and this and this. And then you get 5 paragraphs in and it's like, I'd love for you to have been, such and such on your program. I'm like, fuck off forever. You're done.
Insta delete. And by the way, I just searched Pulsia in my Gmail inbox. I have 14 cold emails from Pulsia in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't even have a Pulsia account.
I think this is a bad trade-off that he's making. The virality for, it kills the upside of the actual business. Anyway, so a very interesting experiment that we can keep an eye on. Let's see how it goes. I saw this post from Rob today, and he's also complaining about the email spam.
I mean, also, and I totally agree with that one too. But the cold email is not new. It's been annoying for decades, and we've all had mountains of it. So, yeah, there's more of it from this Pulsia, but people and companies have been using automated bots to send cold email for years already. That's nothing new.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on to this next topic. I'm gonna give us a break. Instead of diving directly into another potential scam story, let's look at a positive story here. Adam Wathan just, I don't think he launched, but I think he announced a new product. Interesting looking product. And I think what's most interesting, first of all, Adam, congrats on joining the Yes, I Have No Hair and I'm Proud of It club. And also very happy to hear that your little 3-week-old baby is doing okay, because I think it's a little bit of a scare.
Yeah.
So I think what's interesting here is we have in Adam and the team there, it's like very high-end internet people that offer products to other internet people to make the internet better. At least like the top of the internet pyramid here.
Yeah.
And then just got confronted with this very, very new reality around Tailwind being adopted and then Tailwind being used and being open source and effectively no value coming back to the main company. So the business model was no longer relevant of we're going to get attention because people are going to adopt it and then we're going to offer these premium elements, these premium products. So this is that team moving in a direction to provide a new form of value to the market, now that everyone codes in a different way.
Yeah.
Do either of you, Brian, do you have a take on this? This is starting to move into your territory, but on the front end. So where's this going?
Such a big fan of Adam and Tailwind and what they're doing with this. I haven't tried UI.sh yet, but I can't wait to get my hands on it and try it, because I'm sure it's going to be, if not just interesting to see how they design a totally new product, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes an everyday tool that I use, because Tailwind certainly has. So one thing I want to point out also from a product marketing, is it on the website? Where did I see it? I love this. All right. So their H1, this is just a coming soon website right now, right?
Yeah, it's UI.sh.
Oh no, this isn't it. Where did I see it?
Oh, not on the website.
Maybe they got. Okay, so it's sort of small in the bottom right. They've got a main headline turn your terminal into a design engineer. Okay, interesting. And then a sub headline toolkit for coding agents, Claude Code, AMP Cursor. Okay, interesting. Build UIs that don't suck. Okay, you're hitting on the pain point.
Yeah, continue to use the products you prefer. Right.
The most powerful text on this page is actually the smallest text in the bottom right by the people who made Tailwind CSS.
Just trust.
Everybody on the internet, or everybody who makes stuff on the internet, knows Tailwind CSS. Oh, the people who made that thing are making this product. Oh, this is like instant credibility.
So this gives them an opening.
Yeah. Like that's just, it's like no matter what they do, it's going to be interesting and noteworthy because it's from the Tailwind CSS team. Yeah, and I also love the idea that I don't know if he's talked about this. I was going to ask him about it. What their pricing plan is. I hope that they're going to be charging for this in some way and not just giving it away for free. I assume this is like a new paid product. I just like the idea in general of like, okay, we've tried everything on the Tailwind CSS. Yeah, we have some like some supporter donation business going on there. They've got the pro plan there, but now it's time to like clean slate. What if we started something totally from scratch? I love the choice of product, like category. It just makes so much sense for them to make a UI design tool. I just love the idea of like, we sell to designers and developers. What's the next thing that designers and developers need? It's a UI tool. And then from an AI standpoint, this to me remains one of the big unsolved gaps in the builder's workflow. It's something that I think a lot about. I hacked on an idea called Design OS a couple of months ago. Some people use that, but that's not quite the right solution, I don't think yet. And I'm still rethinking like where does the UI design phase of the workflow take place in this new agentic era? So there's this, and then like Google just announced this new tool called Stitch. I haven't tried that yet, but it's really, I think, all from a product standpoint. I'll shut up after this point. From a product standpoint in the UI design space, I think there have been many interesting products over the past year or two, like new products. The one thing that I don't think any of them have really quite figured out yet is the handoff or the integration from, okay, I have my vision in some sort of UI or a set of UI screens. Like this is what the dashboard is going to look like. This is what the account page is going to look like. This is what the onboarding flow is going to look like, but it's not functional yet. We have that UI figured out with using these new tools. Now, how does my Claude Code agent take that and run with it and build it out into the rest of the app? I'm still thinking through that sequence of events in today's new workflow. It'll be interesting how this kind of fits in.
Very cool. Justin, do you guys use Tailwind? Is this something that your company would adopt? We don't. So we won't, but we're kind of like cheering them on. I hope that this story and this arc is like a creative destruction. Like in order to get here, they had to go through that, and that this thing goes 100x whatever they were doing before.
I'm actually bullish on it. And here's my theory, and we'll see if you guys agree with me. I think we're entering a new era where to stand out, your product is going to have to be like a religion in the same way that Basecamp, the Basecamp way is the reason a lot of people sign up for Basecamp. You sign up for Basecamp, you're signing up for the Basecamp religion. And a lot of the attraction is I'm going to Basecamp because they seem to have some sort of magical, mystical process that makes them productive in this way. So I'm not just signing up for software, and I'm not just signing up for an opinionated UI and UX, although those are both true. I'm also signing up for a framework and a philosophy and a way of working. And now that we have all of these people launching generic products, the way to stand out is to have product plus what I'm saying, religion, plus a overarching philosophy, a way of working that is aspirational. So when people sign up for your tool, they're not just signing up for this. They're also signing up for your opinions and your way of working. Like, man, I can't tell you how many times I've been like, man, if we just fully adopted the Basecamp religion and fully adopted ShapeUp and fully used Basecamp, maybe then all of our problems would go away, you know? And that thought is so powerful. And in an undifferentiated product landscape, when everybody's launching these generic products, what's going to stand out? It's going to be this kind of personality, but also like we also have a philosophy, a way of working that when you sign up for this, you get this. Adam and Steve could have this in spades. It's like, do you want to design the way we do? Well, we've built the tool, but we've built it so opinionated that you're also signing up for our philosophy of work.
I love that. You know, one thing that I would add, and Jason Fried tweeted this, I think, a few days ago. I think the thing applies here is that, so I don't know really how the UI.sh is being thought through and designed from a user experience standpoint, but I do think that most SaaS, not all, but like a lot of SaaS that involve a lot of usage, like people logging in to use the app, to click a lot of buttons and do things day to day. I think the way forward now is to make your products accessible and usable by agents. And I would say I would tweak that. I would say usable by humans, just like they always have, and welcome in potential users as agents, which is much better than building in like an under the hood. Jordan, your product is a little bit different, but like what Jason Fried tweeted the other day was like, I think it's basecamp.com/agents. Let me see what they have there.
I've gone more toward your direction on the agents. I just think we'll be a little later. That's all.
So this page is great. I just saw this yesterday. Basecamp.com/agents. They're basically just advertising the fact that like, hey, Basecamp has a CLI now. Basecamp has an agent skill now. It's easy enough for any agent to log into your Basecamp account and do anything that you and your team would do, but an agent can do it. So that, I think, is the way forward for any tool that is very fiddly, very user like, oh, I have to click a lot of stuff. I have to spend a lot of time to do this stuff. I think going forward, I know this seems a little bit beyond the edge of reality today, but I think this is where things are going. More and more people are going to want to just quote unquote hire or delegate to their agent and say, can you just manage my Kanban board for me? Can you just set up a project, set up an automation in that automation tool that we pay for? I don't want to like click all the buttons. Just go do it. The agent should be able to do that using a CLI. So how does this relate to UI.sh? I don't know how their product is going to be designed and used, but I know that design tools historically have been extremely fiddly. To get the value out of it, I have to sit here for hours and click buttons and drag rectangles and scroll through font choices and do all the things and pick colors and like that. As a designer, that can be fun, but it could also be extremely time consuming and frustrating that I'm spending so much time on this stuff. You know, I just want to get to the, so it would be great if I could use something like UI.sh with my Claude agents who know my preferences, who have their memory of me, and I can use my very best models that I pay for Claude to go use my UI.sh account to now prompt it and get a solid UI, and then maybe I'll give some input on that, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited for them. My big worry is around pricing, because we have all become accustomed to getting it in a preposterous amount of value from what we're paying platforms like Claude, because they're super subsidized. And so if a $200 max subscription gets you a absolute Mount Everest amount of value, it's tough to go anywhere near that price point around something that is like adjacent and added to and will not be seen at the same level. I assume. Don't know yet. But I think you're right on the interaction. When Linear came out with their Slack integration and Claude, my engineering team were ecstatic. They were like, I can't believe I just go at Linear, add this to the ticket, assign it to me, priority level medium. Done.
Yeah.
No more clicking and fiddling, just like you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
It's like this weird version of like manual labor. And it's just unnecessary because the machine does it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that there's a huge difference in quality level and like power that comes from, because we've seen over the past year all these SaaS tools just add in a built-in AI, a magic AI button, but you know that under the hood those SaaS companies have to manage their own costs for that, right? So they're going to use a compromise, like a less than frontier model, but even if they use a decent enough model, it's not trained on you. It's just trained on their own system prompts. It's much more powerful for the user to be able to bring their own agent, or whether that means like letting their agent use it via CLI or plug in their own API key so that their own, and there's like subscription issues with that. Like Claude wants you to use their own tools, but that I think is the really the future. It's like people and companies using their own agents that have their history and memory, and then deploy those agents on. So for tool makers, for SaaS makers, just make a great tool and value. Like you don't have to be the AI delivery. Jordan, yours is in a different category though, because you're like voice for businesses. I would say that's like an exception to what I'm saying.
I think you're on the right track. We're just a little later because our users adopt a bit later, and that means their tooling adopts a bit later. It just gets pushed out into the future because you still come into our product and click around. And you say, perfect example, very small little feature that's very important, FAQs. So to be able to add an FAQ so that Rosie knows this FAQ that comes into your business frequently and that you wanted to get the answer just right, why not be able to do that from your phone? Just send a text message, add this to my FAQs, or Slack, or from your ticketing, right? You did something over chat, you put it into the CRM, and you just say, add it as an FAQ. And add it to Rosie's context around whenever this topic comes up, this is the answer that we want them to provide with this nuance. Justin, bring us home on this, and then
I just
we'll
one
move on
more
to the next
thought
topic.
that came up as you were talking, which was that in one sense, I agree with you. You got to bring your own model. The other thing I'm thinking about is if Adam and Steve developed an incredibly opinionated model that was accessible via Slack chat, and I am hiring Adam and Steve's model or their harness or whatever shape it takes, I think this combination of mentioning something in Slack plus having some of the magic, the opinionated magic of, in this case, Adam and Steve. It's like Adam and Steve bot, I want you to go out and build out this next page for us in Slack and then report back. And then it goes out, and it's got all of their secret sauce infused into this machine, this proprietary model. Maybe it's proprietary plus your plot or whatever, but they've got some magic in there. Dudes, who wouldn't pay for that?
That's what we've always all wanted.
Who wouldn't pay for that?
Hire them. Yes.
From like the bits and pieces I've seen them share, like the little video teasers, I think it's really cool what they're building because like they're building a UI builder or a UI design tool, literally a UI design tool. But what makes it interesting is that I think we're getting ahead of it because they haven't fully released it. But I think the idea is like you can design a full interface piece by piece and say like, I like 3/4 of this, but the sidebar needs tweaking. So let's swap that out, or let's swap this menu out, but keep everything else in place. And you actually need like a physical UI for that. And that's the kind of thing that like just designing in Claude or Claude Code, it'll end up just like redesigning the whole thing, and then you're going in circles.
Yeah.
So like that, I think that's a perfect example of like actually build a product interface that's usable. That's like the core piece, and then we bring AI agents to interact with that new interface that they put together. You know?
Awesome.
Yep.
Adam and Steve, we are rooting for you guys. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about this. The idea of just being able to hire them to build UI is like, Yes, like in many ways, that's what you were doing when you were buying their elements. They're telling elements.
Yep.
And this just moves that value over into the way people work now. Very cool.
Love
All
it.
right. I want to ask very quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is another potential scam. YC backed, 30 under 30, raised $32 million, $300 million valuation, growing like wildfire, company Delve.
Yes.
What Delve does is compliance. We have talked to them. We are in a Slack channel with them because we are considering doing HIPAA with them and SOC 2 and all this other stuff. This Substack article comes out from Deep Delver. Gotta love this stuff. Effectively exposing, or what appears to be an expose, that they're just making half this stuff up. And the way they're so amazing that you can get your SOC 2 compliance in like 2 weeks and your HIPAA compliance in like 5 days might just be a giant scam. So what is going on here? Look, there's this interesting story about what might be a potential. I mean, this is kind of serious because potential compliance and security, like you might end up in jail for this. Sort of thing. So it's not like a small thing like, oh, they fudged their ARR numbers. But what I really want to talk about is how unbelievably big of a scam compliance is to begin with.
Yeah.
What is going on with this company? Justin, do you have any of this stuff? SOC 2, HIPAA,
No.
ISO 20001, EU proctology exam regulation?
This is the great thing about running your own company is that we got to decide early on, and I've got some hilarious stories about talking to the big enterprise companies, like a major, like one of the big top, I'm guessing, one of the oldest IT companies in the world. I'll say that.
Okay.
They called us. They already had podcasts on Transistor. They wanted to do like 50 accounts, but also make it so that all of their global offices had to use us. So this would have been eventually hundreds of accounts. And he was just like, at the end of the call, at the time it was just John and I. And at the end of the call, he's like, okay, after this call, we're going to get our legal team, contacted your legal team. We're going to get the SOC 2 people. And I was like, whoa, hold up. I'm like, this company that you're talking to is just two people. It's just John and I.
In your field of vision right now.
I said, you're literally talking to 50% of us. I said, if you need any of that, we're not the right provider for you.
Okay, good for you. So you didn't see the dollar signs and look into it. You were just like a no.
It's just so much pain. And it's like, sure, okay. You know, in retrospect, at the time, it would have been nice to have the money. But let's say that ended up being, I don't know, a $200,000 a year deal. That's like a lot of money.
Yep.
But it was way better for us to just focus, double down and focus on that hobbyist prosumer customer and just get thousands of them. They sign up with a credit card. They cancel with a credit card. They don't need all this extra shit. That extra shit drives me crazy.
100%.
The only thing that's
we
been
talked about opportunity cost. Like, think about if at that time when you were a 2-person company, and you're still in startup mode, and like, yeah, you could drop everything to get through the gauntlet to land a $200,000 a year deal.
Yeah,
maybe, right? And then even if that comes through, then you're servicing that contract. Then you become an agency for this one. Like, I know it's not that extreme, but like,
it could have been. We would have had to hire more
think about
people.
All the other features and all the other support that you would have had to push off to make space.
Yeah,
for all
some industries don't allow for the flexibility. Rally, which was a checkout that ended up working with larger merchants, they all needed it. We didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So we worked with Vanta and we paid, all this crazy money and went through these absurd processes. And my real issue with it is that it is window dressing. That just makes people and companies and departments and lawyers feel better. But if you're a dishonest company, are you not going to be dishonest because you're SOC 2 compliant? Like, no.
Yeah.
And the reverse is the 98%. The 98% are just honest companies that are not doing anything wrong, but don't have these accreditations and these certifications because they can't afford to go through the process, whether financially or organizationally. And it's almost like what Delve pretended to do should be possible. Let's just take a quick look into your company, make sure you're doing things correctly, and give you a sticker with yes, you're compliant. Because that's how it should be run.
Yeah.
And instead, it's this whole gigantic rigmarole. And I know I'm minimizing it and underestimating the importance and all this other crap, but just a hateful corner of the internet, just awful.
Yeah. The sad part is that I think there's actually a lot of opportunity in this space. So what Stripe did for billing and credit card processing, which was this big, hairy, complicated, like just
manual
labor, and the worst providers on the planet, like dealing with credit card companies before was just the absolute worst. And they took all of that complexity and they said, we're just going to hide this and we're going to make it simple for you. And they achieved it through a lot of hard work. And if you still look at the back end of Stripe, they're still, I talked to somebody there and it was something crazy. Like they're still getting faxes that they have to manually like scan and figure out. And like,
so it didn't disappear. They just push it over to their side of the column. They said, we'll handle that. Yep.
That's right.
It's about you're selling like liability protection, right? Like that's all really what these things are doing. So, but really, I think in order, I don't know the details on this, but the idea of selling that as if that's the product that you're selling, we're selling you the peace of mind that your company is going to be in the clear for any liability when it comes to HIPAA or whatever these other compliance things that your customers may end up needing or may end up in a lawsuit that involves your tool, right? So that those liabilities are codified in law. So like whether you're this Delve or if you're like Gusto, like a big part of what Gusto sells is the ability to like file your taxes on time and make sure you're going to be in the clear on that.
Unemployment
and like,
stuff.
You know, unemployment crap and all that. So you know, like at the end of the day, it's like, how do you stream? And what Stripe did, there was a little bit of technical stuff, but it was also like just paper, like they're just handling paperwork. If you like, I've done a Stripe Atlas company once, and it was like they're just like kind of streamlining the paperwork, and you can sort of tell behind Stripe's clean UI, there's an office somewhere that's just pointing to like Delaware Corp websites, you know, like one question I have on this is like, what does this say about YC? That's why YC's name is on this.
Yeah,
30 under 30, we already know. You know, that's like an anti-signal. I don't know if it says anything about YC. Is it their responsibility? Some of these things are like blatant frauds, and they should have caught them and blah blah blah. Yeah. This looks like innovation. It's similar to what Stripe did, right? They said they're using AI to make things faster and better and all these other things. And I don't know if... do you think...
Is it innovation? I mean, because it's like, again, I don't know all the details, but if it's like... It is innovation to me if you have actually figured out a way to streamline the annoying paperwork and the actual legal compliance. If you can literally get your customers to actually be in the clear of those liabilities, then that's not a scam. But if you're saying that, like, sure, you're not going to be legally liable if your customers sue you because you claimed to be HIPAA compliant and you're not really, like, that is scam territory to me.
So what responsibility falls on YC, right? They are an investor in a private company that relies on claims being made by the representatives of the company. Right. Yeah. And whatever we're saying is cool, but what's in the legal docs is what's real. And in those legal docs, the people at the company are attesting to the fact that what they've represented is true. Yeah. So it's like, isn't YC like the initial victim in something like this?
That's sort of what I mean. Is like you would think that something like this would what do you call it? Like
ring alarm bells, like go off the radar or something.
Yeah, like whatever deal they had. Like, I guess my first question is like, what does YC do after the discovery of this? If it's in fact confirmed and all that, does that like invalidate their association? But then also it's like maybe the question is like, are there just so many YC companies that it's like they don't really have that like hands-on or close watch on who they're working with these days? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, is the pool of YC companies any higher, more represented with some form of nefarious business than any other pool of businesses. Done.
Yeah, like we probably remember the early days of YC where it's like, oh, these 20 companies in a year are the YC companies and they're highly respected. And now there's like hundreds of them every year, or thousands. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I think YC does have a responsibility. I mean, you've got Gary Tan back in September 13th, 2025 saying, Delve is now a top YC startup. So him just saying
promoting.
that, he's promoting them. And there is this magic stamp of approval from YC. It carries weight. That's why startups try to get into YC. That's why they advertise it on their homepage. Mm-hmm. So if it is a badge of approval and YC prides itself on being the smartest. They're all thought leaders. They're all the smartest people in the room. Okay, if you're the smartest people in the room, do your fucking homework.
Yeah, before people invest money and buy their certificates and depend on... We were going to go with Delve for our HIPAA compliance because it makes sense for us to work with medical field. And part of why we were going to go with Delve was because of this reputational glow around it.
Yep. Also, there must be some, like, if it's too good to be true, at least just ask a few extra questions, right? Like whether you're YC or any of the, like, because like we've all faced the prospect of, like, we get the requests from people who need HIPAA compliance or need whatever compliance, and then we look into, like, well, what does it cost and how much time to actually get that compliance? Oh, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, months or years to get that? Okay, no, or maybe, right? And then this company comes along and says, we can get you approved in 2 weeks. It's like, oh, that's interesting, but how? How does that work? Explain it. You know, like,
with AI,
Except the claims are, it seems like these claims are pretty easy to debug. This is why I think YC has a responsibility here, because, you've got this fellow here, and he's saying it's not possible for any U.S. auditor to issue SOC 2 certifications with less than 3 months of monitoring window. 6 is typical. Delve issued a certificate in 2 weeks. So if that's true, then yeah, that's a huge alarm bell. This is also why, for a while there was a bunch of these other merchant of record companies popping up around Stripe. And there was one in the microconf community for a while, and I was just skeptical as hell. I'm like, I do not want a little startup managing merchant of record for me. And then sure enough, 8 weeks later, they're closed down. And this is actually important for anyone listening, I think, is there is opportunity here. There is all sorts of shitty enterprise compliance, all the Gusto and Carta, lots of places, companies play in this field. You can make money here. I think it's worth doing, actually. But you got to actually do the work. Like, you got to treat it seriously. You got to be an adult. And what's concerning about this is YC is supposed to be the company that takes these young, 20-something founders and turns them into the adults in the room. And it's like, well, what did you do there? You totally fucked up. That's your responsibility, right?
That's why I have so much respect for Gusto. I was a customer of theirs for a long time, and, like, you could just tell that they put in the work to figure out the systems and the people and the processes to go into each individual U.S. state and their government compliance stuff and their tax codes, and then maybe they do international stuff, and then all these different things, dealing with contractors, dealing with W-2s. Like, they figure out all the paperwork, and you could tell it. Yeah, they have a slick interface, but they have people, they have processes. They tracked it all down. Like, you could just see, and it's like, I would never want to run that company or be in design. Like, that just seems like
the opportunity.
Like,
nobody
wants 1,000 headaches, but, like, exactly. That's the opportunity that they figured out how to crack.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's another example of the temptation just being too great to cut corners. Right, these founders were on their way to being billionaires on paper. It was a straight line from here to there.
Yeah.
Insanely fast growth, amazing valuation, amazing investors, and they just went for that incentive and weren't careful.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a Ponzi scheme. If you're taking money for something that's not real, that's a Ponzi scheme. This is what we need to.
I disagree, but go ahead.
We
you
need
finish.
we need to root this out of the startup ecosystem. This move fast and break stuff in a way is good advice, but in another way, if you get a 22-year-old founder whose prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed yet, and you're telling them to make all these decisions, and they're taking all these shortcuts, like it is a Ponzi scheme if you're selling something that's not real. So if you're speed running someone through SOC 2 compliance in 2 weeks, when everybody in the industry knows you need at least a 3-month window, and there's people on Twitter saying we got sped run through this, and we were like, wait, this can't be real. Like they're selling us fake compliance. It's a Ponzi scheme.
So okay, I'm going to finish with this. I want to go to OpenClaw to close that loop we opened an hour ago. I don't blame Delve entirely because everyone around them is in on the same pyramid scheme mindset. Because all I want is to be able to say we're HIPAA compliant so we can take on medical. I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to steal anyone's data. We're going to protect it anyway. We're already being careful and responsible in our software company. I just need to buy the damn certificate so people can sign up because they were told by law they need to work with something that it's a compliant. So both sides are just give me the certificate. Just give me the shortest path to saying I'm HIPAA compliant. And they were like, cool, we'll outsource it overseas and we won't ask them how they do it. They'll give us the approval. We'll give you the approval and everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
So that's my only issue with this is that it was all set up to be bullshit because the entire thing is bullshit to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's close this thing out with where OpenClaw is today. Brian, I want to bring this to you because you've kind of seen this evolution in general. As a non-technical person, I don't 100% understand the value of OpenClaw other than running multiple things at the same time. Help me connect that.
Okay.
And where it's going, again, from my perspective, is I'm good just kind of waiting. I don't think I need to learn all this crazy stuff. I don't think I need a Mac Mini. I'm just looking at and saying amazing innovation breakthrough, and now will be absorbed in all the tools, and I'll just hang out for another month or two, and all that power is going to come my way without having to think about anything. Help me. What's your response?
I think that there is a really interesting story here that's been playing out over the past 2 months, and it's playing out now in real time still. OpenClaw breaks open to the world about 2 months ago. One of the most fastest growing thing in the world. I did a couple of YouTube videos on it that went absolutely nuts.
Yeah. What's the thing? What was the breakthrough?
Thing? The breakthrough that OpenClaw introduced is in a word, it's like autonomy of a true actual agent that can truly work autonomously, and that combined with the interface of chatting with the agent using Telegram or WhatsApp or Discord or whatever chat tool you want to use. A lot of people use Telegram.
Okay. How is that different from just going into the chat box of Claude and saying, do this for me, hit enter?
Exactly.
Where's the difference?
The big difference is in the autonomous nature of it. So it's absolutely true. And this is I'll get more to how the story is changing right now with Claude. Okay. But originally the big breakthrough is that with OpenClaw, you can just chat with it and you can give it jobs. You can give it tasks, like scheduled recurring tasks. To me, that as a business owner, that's how I've always thought about it, and that's one of the angles that I've really been zeroing in is that I'm actually not. I've never been interested in having OpenClaw giving it full access to my personal inbox or my calendar or my everything. No, it's not in my personal computers. It's on its own dedicated Mac Mini. You can do a VPS too, but to me, the value of it is to think of it like employees. I hire employees, I give them tasks and responsibilities that they can autonomously do things day to day.
They know what they need to do. They walk
They
in
know what
on
they
Monday.
need to
They
do.
know what they need to do. They walk in on Tuesday.
You guys know me. I've always been a process guy. Back when I was, it's such a clear parallel to me with audience ops.
Yeah.
And this, right? Audience ops was literally built on 100 Google Docs that I wrote out step-by-step processes, and I gave those Google Docs to my team of 25 humans who carried them out day to day on a repeated, recurring basis. They were happy to have that sort of gig. I was happy to have a business that runs on autopilot thanks to processes and systems, runs predictably. Great. Today's version of that, in my view, like the big exciting value of OpenClaw is I can have agents following processes. Processes come in the form of skills now, but it's a text document with step-by-step instructions. So like for me, I do a lot of content, so I have a content agent that every morning is pitching new ideas to me, and then I have a process that we go through with drafting. I've got another agent that watches Twitter and has some radar for stuff I want to track, stuff like that. You can't do that, or you couldn't do that, maybe until now, but like 2 months ago, you really couldn't do that type of thing with Claude or OpenAI, because as powerful as Claude or Claude Code is, or Claude Cowork has been, most of the power of those tools comes with me at the computer, like prompting it to say, do this thing, build this thing. And those builds have gotten powerful, more and more powerful, bigger and bigger. Like I can have it almost one-shot an entire app using Claude Code, but that's still a task that I have to sit here and say, here's the thing, go, do it.
Okay,
Maybe
so this cracks things open from having a conversation, right? The man, now the myth and legend, Peter Steinberger, right? That's his name. So introduces this concept. Before we go further, I just want to ask you, Justin, when you saw OpenClaw starting to blossom, did you see application for it in your business or personal life? Were you like clamoring for it? Or is it really mostly developers that saw it and kind of grokked the innovation?
I think it's for me, the innovation was I want an agent that can go do real work for me that I can talk to via Telegram. That seemed like, and still does honestly feel like an innovation that I want.
So the channel innovation was part of it. Of like, I don't need to be on my computer. I don't even need a chatbot that provided by the tool. This is just me having a conversation.
An interface that can actually do real work. So in the same way that you could set off an agent to go build you something in Claude Code, could I have an agent go and find me a bunch of restaurants this week and come back with a report? Could I have an agent go and look through all of my Dropbox folder and then come back with like all of the documents I need for my accountant and then just email them to my accountant? There's like things like that.
Multi-step automation.
But the UI, the interface is an important piece of that.
Okay.
And then, but the actual power of saying, yeah, this agent, I'll go off and look at everything and see what I can do for you.
My big thing on that is that like, there's all sorts of different tasks that we want to delegate. Right? Mm-hmm. And I do use AI in almost every task that I work on today, from day to day, throughout the day. But I'm more than happy to just keep using Claude and Claude Cowork and Claude.ai and Claude Code when I'm here at the computer. And if I have a big hairy task, if I got to organize a big Dropbox folder, or if I have to write a complex thing, I'm gonna open up Claude and I'm gonna have it help me do that. Mm-hmm. Because I'm actively working. It's a huge help, but I don't really consider that delegation. To me, the big value is recurring scheduled tasks that are happening without me saying go. I just want that employee on my team to come in every Tuesday morning and do their thing that they always do on Tuesday morning, and I just know that it's getting done. And so like that's the kind of thing that hasn't quite been possible with the Claudes and the Chat GPTs. Up until now, there's some new features coming out, but like, so I don't even use OpenClaw. I don't use it to build stuff. I still use Claude Code because I like to build stuff. I don't use it for, I've got this one-off complex task that I only need to do once today. I'm not really going to use OpenClaw for that. I'm just going to sit in my desk and use Claude to help me knock this out once, right? And I'm not going to use it to help me pick a restaurant. I happen to want to pick the restaurant for me and my wife to go to. Thank you very much. I don't need an agent to help me do that. But I do want to make sure that every single day I have a new set of 8 ideas that I could develop into content, just pitched to me, and then I can react off of those, and then I can say, yeah, let's green light these 3, go off and draft those. I'll review those tomorrow. Like, that's the kind of automated recurring stuff that, so for me, it's like mostly marketing stuff. So what's been interesting over the last, I would say, month, the team at Claude, man, is on fire. Anthropic.
Yeah, incredible stuff.
They see this. Okay, so like I'll rattle off some of the features, but I think the bigger story is like product management here and like roadmap, which I'm still sort of like, I'm mind boggled by how they do this. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes there, but just from a product standpoint, Claude has released. In Claude Cowork,
which is new itself.
It's relatively new. That's been around for a few months, but now they just finally added a feature called scheduled recurring tasks.
Okay.
So you can have Claude Cowork on your machine, and I have moved that content pitching task.
Okay.
Out
So
of
you're
Open
already
Claude,
adopting.
and I have put it into Claude Cowork because, like, why not just have OpenClaw do that?
Yes.
Well, there was a big brouhaha about 2 months ago, when OpenClaw came out, where technically it's easy enough to just connect your Claude Max plan to OpenClaw. Like, I pay $200 a month for Claude Max. I want to use Opus on OpenClaw. You can't. That's against their terms of service.
Yes, a little TOS jujitsu there. Very nice.
Yeah. It's technically easy, and you literally a couple clicks and you can connect you can OAuth your subscription into OpenClaw. It's possible.
Okay.
But then you hear all these stories of Claude shutting down accounts, and they have some behind the scenes tracking of, like, they think that an OpenClaw is operating your Claude account, they'll shut you down, right? And so there's debate over whether that's true or not. There's been a lot. Granted, I would say that the Anthropic team has not done a great job of communicating, and they've been a little bit dodging the question. That was the story about a month or 2 ago. But the reality is, like, they don't want you using OpenClaw. They want you using Claude products. But the other reality was, well, the Claude products can't actually do all the things that OpenClaw can in terms of communication and autonomy and recurring tasks.
So the clock was ticking for them to hurry up.
And hurry up, they did, right? Like that's the story to me is like they have scheduled tasks in Claude Cowork. Over in Claude Code, they released the ability to say, first they shipped, okay, I start this Claude Code session on my computer, I can remote it over to my mobile, and I can leave for the day and continue the task on my mobile. Okay, that's interesting, but I still have to initiate it on my desktop. 2 weeks later, they ship, now you can spawn it the other way. You can be out on mobile, and now you can spawn a new Claude Code session from mobile. So that's really interesting. There's still some like little technical gotchas that add friction.
Yeah,
like
temporary though.
Exactly, temporary.
Right. And Steinberger joins OpenAI, and Meta acquires Manus, and now it feels like the race is on. The analogy, the visual analogy I got in my head as you kind of finally explained, got through to me on the difference between something using Claude versus OpenClaw. It's like the Fantasia Disney cartoon, where if you have a wand, a magic wand that can do things and gives you amazing leverage with magic, that's using Claude. But OpenClaw is bringing everything to life that cleans for you, that goes off and does it for you without you. And that concept, as soon as that hit and everyone understood how big of an innovation it was just a matter of time before that got absorbed into the existing products. I have to give credit to Anthropic to basically say, we're actually going to enforce our terms of service, at least to the point where the rumor out there will be that you can't do it. And then we're going to sprint and get people this power in their hands as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I actually don't blame them. Like, obviously they should enforce their terms, but their tweets were like intentionally
they didn't want to be
misleading a little bit. Or
you can't be cool and shut down the coolest product in tech at the same time.
but it's also really interesting how it's like, okay, there must have been some internal decision making process that looked something like this, like, oh shit, OpenClaw is here, OpenAI just bought them, we missed that opportunity, people are getting angry at these misleading tweets we're putting out. What do we do about that? Let's just deal with the heat that we're going to receive for a few months. Meanwhile, go heads down and ship the features we need to ship. Right. Scheduling, remote cloud co-work. And like literally within 6 weeks, they're shipping these features. So what I want to know, I don't like the Claude team is really transparent on Twitter. You can follow multiple team members over there and watch them drop these features, which is fascinating. But there is some behind the scenes product management story here where it's like they are operating on another level. Like how do they prioritize and decide to ship these features and get them into a shippable state? Like, we know that they can build stuff quickly. We get that. They're obviously using Claude Code, right? But like
the best version.
It's still, because like Jordan, like we've talked about you and like your team and Justin too. Like, how do we adapt and change the way that we ship SaaS products, right? To ship these features that have this massive worldwide scale of user bases.
They're adding 1 million users a day.
Yeah, like
all at the same time as this is all happening, there are 1 million signups a day.
Like people see the speed of building and shipping, which is obvious, but it's, to me, what's more impressive and more mysterious is like the decision making behind it. Like who's saying like, we have to prioritize these features and hold off on those other 100 features that we have. You know,
I think, look, I have interacted with some of these teams in SF a little bit. And my general feeling is that the level of seriousness and commitment is well beyond what we are willing to accept in our lives. I leave this desk at about 5:45 and 6. I go downstairs and I cook dinner with my family, and then I help them with homework. And then I'll watch a little TV and I'll go on the laptop. Like, I'm not living the same life as these people right now. They are 100% dialed, locked in, 24/7. Every Saturday, Sunday, every night. And it's an incredible thing to kind of see and benefit from. But these people are not like us right now. They deserve the progress they're making and the money that they're going to make and all that, because they are way out on the edge on that. It's the talent, the tech, the commitment, all of it in SF right now is something to admire.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the other thing you didn't mention is this dispatch thing they just launched as well, which is basically you can use co-work on the go.
Another way, like to from your mobile device to what's interesting is like you're not communicating into the cloud. I'm communicating to my computer.
Yeah,
I could be out or I could be somewhere else, and I'm on my mobile device and I'm talking to the computer that is on my desk.
Yeah,
and that's the unlock, because on my file system is where my skills live. They don't live in the cloud.
Oh, that's why.
It still feels a little bit janky to me, because like people need to keep their
back in the day.
People need to keep their computers running basically and out of sleep mode. Like I heard,
what? Can't you put it into like Dropbox?
I've literally been that's been the technical thing I've been working through today.
So
like how do I
handle
make sure
that next? Okay.
Yeah. Well, and people are like forced. There's like this thing called. There's a way to force your laptop to stay awake even when it's closed. There's an app to do that. I think that so people are walking around with their laptops.
Yeah, that's absurd. That's so temporary.
Yeah.
And I'm accessing it on my Mac Mini, which doesn't have a monitor.
Okay.
It's just the Mac Mini. Yeah. I just remote into it but I had to set up some settings that prevent it from going asleep so that I can always access the tools.
Yeah.
So it's been like an hour and a half. We have to stop. I was going to ask about spring break and how we're doing, but I think for the respect of our audience, we're going to call it. We're going to say thank you to everyone. Great conversation, guys.
Yeah, this was great.
Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.
Good hosting, Jordan.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Later.